So, welcome to all of you. Let's begin with the next part. We will have actually the sharing of the screen. Please hold on. So, this is Philosophical Anthropology, Week 2, Human Nature. And this is very, very, very crucial for us. What basically the question is, what is the human nature? How do we understand ourselves? Okay. So before anything else, I want you to know definitely the Plato's idea, the allegory of the cave. Using the allegory of the cave, Plato wants to show that the world and the body, they are illusions. Soma, the body, is actually a prison, sema, which imprisons the soul. Therefore, the world is evil and what is real is the ideas. The ideas are the real. And inspired by Plato, our friend Augustine brought in the original sin and implied that actually the world, the body, the sex, they are bad. Both Plato as well as Augustine supports a kind of dualistic worldview, which unfortunately has done quite a lot of harm to ourselves. So, in this context, let us see the allegory of the cave. We all know there is a sun outside which is shining, but we are all the prisoners here. We are chained and we cannot look back, look at the sun, because there is not only is there a wall, but we are chained, we cannot look backward. All that we can see are the images that comes out of this light. So these soldiers are showing some pictures of a horse and this, that only we can see. If at all, if only these prisoners could get into the real world and see the world in its beauty and majesty, they would be very different. But we are, as poor souls, imprisoned in our body, and we see only the images, not the ideas. The ideas, the real world, that is not what we are seeing. So, unlike our friend Plato, his disciple Aristotle, he spoke about not body versus the soul, but body and soul. The prime matter, the body, and the human soul. And for him, the word that he uses is informs. The substantial form informs the matter. Informs the matter. That is what the word uses. And this is a more integrated view of the body and soul. So body and soul are not really different, not dualistic. They are integrated. So Aristotle has got an integrated view. Now we come to Karl Rahner's understanding. I told you, Rahner is definitely the best known theologian of the last century. He was based in Innsbruck, Austria. He was one of the pioneers leading to Vatican II. And as one of the experts in Vatican II, Emeriti, he was in close touch with Pope Benedict, Ratzinger as a theologian. And for him, please remember the two words Human beings can be described by the title of two of his books. One, human beings are spirit in the world. Spirit in the world. Two, we are hearers of the word. One is the world, the other one is the word. This is what we are. We are spiritual beings, but we are in the world. We listen to the word of God, but we are just hearers. So, I am incarnate in the world through my body. In the world, I am incarnate through my body. So, my body is significant. But of course, I have also a deeper dimension, that is a soul. Pierre Teilhard Chardin. Please note the pronunciation. Teilhard de Chardin. Teilhard de Chardin. He would say matter, material aspects, that is solidified spirit. The spirit solidified is matter. It's something like the water vapor and ice. Ice is solidified vapor. So, Teilhard will connect body and soul very, very closely. And he is very famous for this statement. Man is evolution that has become conscious of itself. We are part of the evolution, but this evolution that has become conscious of itself, that is the human person. And this I want you to note this quote. He is very optimistic about the future of humanity. He says, someday, after mastering the winds and the waves, the tides and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. After all the waves, the gravity, we would have mastered for God the energies of love. And then, for a second time in the history of the world, men will have discovered fire. Discovery of fire was a very, very, very stupendous event, gigantic event. In the same way, when we discover the love that we have for each other, that would be another great, great event. So, to sum up this dualistic and integrated vision of men, human beings, the word man, it comes from the Latin, and that talks about the mind. This man is connected with manas and manushya in our Sanskrit. Men, manas, manushya, they are connected with the mind, the mental or the spiritual aspect. On the other hand, another word, humus. Humus would be mean the earth or the earthy minds. So the human beings, that word comes from the Latin humus or the earthy minds. So when we speak about men, yeah, there is some kind of a duality, mind versus matter. But when we talk about the human being, there is an integrated understanding of the body, the sex, the earth, with the soul, the spirituality. So, men is rather dualistic, while when we use the word mind, it is more integrated. Okay, how do you define a man? How do we understand men? Definition belongs to that category of solutions, answers, clear. But that is why we have put this definition in inverted commas. We are not really defining men, but we are trying to understand men closer and closer. According to Sigmund Freud, we are will to pleasure. We want to enjoy life, the libido. We are will to pleasure. For Friedrich Nietzsche, human beings are basically will to power. We want to control others, dominate others, and use power. For Viktor Frankl, Sorry for the mistake. There is no A here. For Viktor Frankl, all of us are built to meaning. We want to find meaning in life, even in suffering. And if we can find meaning in life, at least we should be able to cope with it. Can you recall that famous quote which Frankl would repeat again and again from Nietzsche? One person? Hello? That famous quote about how and why? He who has found a why can cope with any how. Are you all there? Yes?
Yes, Father.
Yeah.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
He
Yeah,
who
yeah.
has found a
Yes,
why
Father.
can cope with
Yes, Father.
any how.
We can
Good,
hear
thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
We
Father.
hear it. We
But
can
I
hear
want
it,
you to
Father.
know that. I want you by all means to know the quote. Then Don Seed would understand man as an embodied, loving affirmation of God. God has said yes to us, and we are embodied. So we are bodily yeses from God out of love. Then Augustine has got another statement. This also I want you to learn by heart. Augustine says, "We are made for you, O God, and oh, how weary we are till we rest in you." We are made for you, and we would be weary till we rest in you. We are made for you, O God, and oh, how weary we are till we rest in God. Then there is this Joseph Mareshal. I have not done anything about him in our earlier classes, but I will be spending some time analyzing Mareshal's understanding of the human person. Mareshal would understand human beings as openness to God, openness to the unlimited existence. Openness, we are intrinsically openness to God. This part I will elaborate later. Okay, now the search for meaning we spoke about. Viktor Frankl, he had terrible, painful experience in the Nazi concentration camp. Out of that experience came his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he would say there are several forms of neurosis, and they may be traced to the failure of the agent to find meaning and responsibility in his existence. When he suffers, when he is inflicted with pain, can he find meaning and have a sense of responsibility? That is what provides a sense of well being to us. Even when we have suffered, we would not become neurotics if we have meaning and responsibility for ourselves. And his famous statement, to live is to suffer, and to survive is to find meaning in suffering. To live is to suffer, and to survive is to find meaning in suffering. This is somewhat like our Buddhist philosophy. Suffering is everywhere, and the way to get out of that suffering is give up attachments, craving. Give up attachments and craving. Now comes once again that famous quote which I want you to learn by heart. He who has found a why to live for can cope with any how. He who has found a why to live for can cope with any how. This is his book, Frankel's book, Men's Search for Meaning. Please do read it, it's worth it. Although the book is actually a little old, 12 billion copies have been sold. And I want you to understand this quote. Everything can be taken away from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, that is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. No one can take away from us the choice of who I am and how I will respond and what would be the meaning of it. Okay, in this situation, COVID, and in Pune, we are still under the second lockdown. We are circled, but one thing, even this containment zones and the COVID fear and anxiety, one thing that cannot be taken away from us, the last of human freedom, is our attitude to COVID, to anxiety, and to suffering. Okay, now we come to some of the existentialist philosophers. And given this lockdown situation, the existentialist philosophy is actually very, very crucial, very significant. Because the existentialists think of the individuals, the persons, not the collective society. Hegel was very good at thinking of the whole collectivity, the society. But existentialist philosophers, they were actually more concerned of the person, the individual being. Kierkegaard, Marcel, Sartre, and others. They would speak about anxiety, dread, fear, commitment, conversation, dialogue. They would talk about choice. You have to make an option. Either or is one of the books of Kierkegaard. Responsibility. Consciousness is existence itself, or as Karl Jasper would say, consciousness, being aware of, that is the manifestation of being. Consciousness is the manifestation of being. That is what Jaspers would say. And Sartre would say, in each project of the for itself, the one who is for itself, in each perception, the body is there. It is the immediate past insofar as it touches on the present which flees it. So when I am making something for myself, for itself, my body is present and the present is fleeing, moving away, and therefore the present is always becoming a past. And that is what some of the existentialists would think about. And Heidegger would always stress on our normal day-to-day life, which is to a large extent not true, not authentic. We are very much afraid to lead authentic lives. We want to be hiding ourselves in a crowd. The superior told me, therefore I am doing it. We want to lead an anonymous, hidden life. We don't want to reveal our authentic pain and anxieties. Therefore, Sartre would still add sexuality itself, which is an essential aspect of existence, fluctuates between sadism. Sadism is inflicting pain on the others, and masochism, inflicting pain on oneself. So, sexuality, which is an essential part of our life, is inflicting pain on myself or other. And then, Sartre's very, very famous expression, human being is a useless passion. We have passion, yes, but useless. And hell is the other person. Hell is the other people. And that is said in Sartre's novel named No Exit. No Exit. These things I want you by all means to know. Useless passion, hell is the other, no exit. Gabriel Marcel, he is very much an existentialist. And he would talk about body, soul, myself. And let us see what he says. My body, in so far as it is my body, is both something that I have and something that I am. My body is what I have and what I am. I have, that is an object. What I am is a subject and cannot be adequately accounted for using either of these descriptions alone. You cannot have only an objective description, what I have, an instrument, a thing. My body is also what I am. I am. So we are going to use both these categories to understand myself. I can look at my body in a disassociated manner and see it as an object, as an instrument. However, in doing so, in distancing myself from it in order to grasp it qua object, as object, qua something I have, qua means as, it ceases to be my body. When I look at my body as something that I have, then it ceases to be my body. But I can have a body, not by my body. That a body is not my body. The my body is something where I am very much part and parcel of my body. I can have a body and that is not my body. Therefore, Marshall is talking about the intimate connection between my body and myself. I am my body, but sometimes my body is what I have. My body is part of my subject and my body is also my object. That's why Paul Ricoeur would say, the body is the best symbol of myself. The body is external to me, but the body is also what I really make of myself. The body is external, but the body is also internal. Okay, in this context, just a summary of all that we have seen in this connection. What is the understanding of body according to Plato, Augustine, and also you may add according to Marshall? The body is a prison, soma and sema, according to which philosopher? That is according to Plato. Do you agree with him? Definitely not. We would like to have a more integrated understanding of body and soul. How does Aristotle understand the relationship between body and soul? Aristotle has got much more of an integrated understanding. The prime matter, body, informs the soul. Informs, that is a key word. Give two terms, phrases, which can sum up the integrated understanding of Rana with regards to the relationship between body and soul. One is hearers of the word, then spirit in the world. Who was Theodishadan? A Jesuit scientist, paleontologist, and a religious believer. What is his understanding of matter? Matter is solidified spirit for Theodishadan. Man is evolution become conscious of itself. This is a statement of the same Theod. Evolution is going on, but we are the only creatures who are part of evolution and also who are aware that we are part of evolution. Therefore, we are evolution that has become part, conscious of itself. What is the fundamental human drive according to Freud? Pleasure, Nietzsche, power, Frankel, meaning. Why? What does Donsel say about human beings? We are an embodied, loving affirmation of God. How do you summarize the main findings of Frankel? There is suffering, and to find meaning in suffering, that is what our human freedom is worth. And if we can find meaning for our suffering and feel responsible for it, then only then can we lead a healthy life, not a neurotic one. People may suffer intensely. For example, when one someone close to me died. But can we somehow find meaning for our suffering? Yeah, it is terrible. In the case of those three priests who died, somehow might have done something wrong. And then they said, the situation is beyond redemption. There is no meaning, there is no responsibility. And if I feel that there is nothing I can do, that's tragic, tragic, tragic. So, dear friends, whatever happens, there is more that we can do. Never, never, never even think of taking your own life. No, no. He who has found a why to live for can cope with anyhow. Nietzsche, Viktor Frankl quotes it often. It is the same meaning. How do you differentiate being from having? I have a pen, I have my body, I have money. Being, I am my body, I am the integrity, the honesty, the commitment that I hold. And how does Marcel bring in my body to show the relationship between being and having? The body is what I am. The body is also what I have. Both of them are present in the body itself. Okay, dear friends, let's come back. Any comments? Any suggestions? Unmute yourself and speak. Unmute
Can we
yourself
leave
and
further?
speak. Yeah.
Thank you, Father.
Yeah.
Thank you, Father.
No. Give me, say something. Thanks I will always get.